In this video, I'm going to show how to now create your different layers, different scenes from your scene into the different timelines that you created. So what you'll need for this, you may need some tape, actually may need some scissors. Don't worry, I know where that is right now. May need a ruler, and you're going to need your frame from your first frame, which includes your first post in the walk cycle and your complete scene, and then your 3 different layers with the spacing for your foreground, middle ground, and background. And then you'll also need perhaps another piece of paper and your light pad. Okay, so to begin with, what this timeline and the spacing really is about is where your frames will be as they go across, as they advance from one frame to the next. And we're going by this top left corner, okay, in terms of where the edge of that corner is, in terms of how much the frames will move over, okay, in terms of how much of this scene is going by, okay. Now, the thing is, what happened, since my spacing wasn't small enough so that then I could fit this on here, what I want you to do is take this like as if it's all the way to the end of the scene like that, but you'll notice my frame goes beyond, right? So this is where that separate sheet of paper comes into play. So I need to extend this piece of paper by adding another piece of paper onto it. So what I'm going to do is turn this over, line that up, take some tape, tape that on there, maybe 3 spots, whatever holds it in place. Okay, flip this back over. Then I can extend this line. I'm not going to need to go all the way across the paper. And then I can take my frame, lay it on here, and then make a mark, or really I could go ahead and make a line all the way down that. And that is how far of a scene I need to be able to draw, okay, on here, to be able to capture it all. So I don't have a pair of, oh, I got a knife. Don't have my cutting mat, but I can go ahead and just real careful not to cut into my table. Cut that off. Okay, so there's my new extended piece of paper. Okay, so to start, how you're going to do this is now you need to trace over different parts of your scene into each layer. Okay, so what I'm going to do is line this up just like that, and then what I'm going to do is just start tracing over my scene of my foreground. Now I'm going to go as if the figure isn't there at all, because the figure gets put on there, put on the frames first, and then we put the different layers of the scene onto the frames. That may not make much sense to you right now, but it will. Now you want to get this fairly neat if you can. Kind of hard to make out some of this. I might have to take it out from under to be able to look at some of the details. So this news. 25 cents. Do a little better job with that. Okay. So I'll just lift this up. Let's just texture the wood. If I'm not able to see this as well, I might should maybe make it darker. Just so I'm not making this up each time. So as I trace it, it's the same every time. So I may, you know, since I'll be tracing over this, I could go back and make this darker so that every time I can see it. Yeah, that would be probably really good for like the wood grain in this post. Don't like that. All right, so that is the first part of my sink. Now from there, I just got to make up the rest of the sink. You know, I got to extend this now, okay? So let me move now over to my middle ground. And now I'm going to trace what makes up the middle ground. Now I'm going to draw it like as if the mailbox isn't there, or the newspaper stand rather. The figure isn't there. Like as if the light post isn't there. Because this is just a whole separate part, and these things are going to change because they're going to be moving separately. Because they're going to be moving at different speeds. So at some point, this post is going to move across and then cover perhaps this grate, maybe that door, right? Need my reading glasses. Little dumpster cat. I'm just going past or over his hair. One is over the light post. There should be a door right here. That's what that's supposed to represent. I do believe. I guess there should be a change to the size of the doors right there. Unless this one sits back further. I should change this size of the door to that one. Makes sense, wouldn't it? Ooh, this lettering. The thing about it is, you make a complicated scene, you're going to have a lot of tracing to do over and over again. You don't want to have too simplistic a scene either. It doesn't give you much to look at. Alright, so there's my middle ground scene, okay? And then from there, what I have to do is extend that. Okay, so last is my background. Now, there's not much going on back there. Oh, to do this, we also need to take your frame and put it here at the end, and then we can draw a line down right there, and that's as far as we need to draw to. Okay, just like we did for the foreground. Now let's go ahead and do that also for this background. Put the upper left corner, last mark, trace that edge, and that's as far as we'll need to take that. Line this up. Okay. Now my background, we're not seeing much here, but I am going to need to draw a bit more of it because more of it might start to appear later as far as where it goes down. Okay. And then I need to also kind of make up some more background as I go too. Oops. Looked away for a second. Okay. Now, so I only need to go this far with it. Now, what I mean by filling these in, right? I've already done this, all right? So I don't, I just want to demonstrate how that works. But these are my things that I've done previously, okay? So you can see here how I then had to kind of go in. I like added this building, completed this, added this one because it'll come into the scene, and I put a another building right here beside this one because it'll probably come into the scene, and these other buildings or water tower off as well. Okay, so I completed my background scene for that. Here's my middle ground scene. So you can see, I did this a bit differently. Put these double doors there. So it does look more equal. So I did figure that out when I did this one. So you can see here that I extended the scene out and included some more things, right? Because remember, the animation will go all the way there. And then for my foreground scene, it wasn't as long. I did actually, you can see where I erased my marks, where I really did try to make sure that all 40 of my marks fitted, and then I was able to get all the scene on here. So I didn't have to extend it when I did it this way, okay? But I, did a new one to demonstrate for y'all. But here is the rest of my scene. It goes on the furthest, right? And if I was to do it again here, I'd have to extend it all the way here, okay? So, I can let that crack out right there. All right, so that's essentially what you're to do now. And once you have that, we have all the pieces necessary to complete our waltz cycle and parallax. Okay, so once you have all these parts and you started, you got your background and complete it, middle ground and complete it, and foreground and complete it. Now I know all this might seem right now a bit confusing in terms of how this is going to work, but just hold those thoughts, get this thing to focus. You'll see soon enough we will be putting this all together. But right now you just need all the separate parts. Okay? All right.